So now we're live. So me and Tim just had, this is Samson Williams, by the way. I'm here talking to Tim. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. We've been talking about blockchain, AI, the future of big data and real estate, and even humans. Humans might be the biggest impediment to to implementing your digital transformation. So Tim, introduce us and tell us what you're working on that you want to talk about today.
Thanks. Well, first of all, it's great to meet you in person, although I did see you at the conference, but it's good to actually be interviewed, so I know I'm somebody now. So I'm Tim Gilday. I work with General Dynamics Information Technology, helping to lead our blockchain practice, make sure that we have a presence in the industry. We're working closely with the government, trying to help them get a bearing of this new technology. Everybody's learning, right? This is in its infancy, and as you and I were discussing earlier, we don't know all the possibilities with it, and nobody should be pretending like they do. So we're learning along with the government and trying to make sure that they're not wasting time approaching opportunities that aren't really relevant to blockchain technology. Beyond blockchain, GDIT focuses on cloud, cyber, artificial intelligence. We're trying to bring those advanced or emerging technologies a little bit faster.
So you mentioned cloud, cyber, but where's IoT, or is that something you guys do or do not do?
IoT, again, with blockchain technology and artificial intelligence, we treat these a little bit more as emerging technologies where the government's concerned. So we do have sensors, we have RFID contracts, things with logistics and supply chain, DoD, but IoT hasn't emerged in large RFPs yet, so it's not something that we do on a large scale.
That's good to know. That's good to know. If the government hasn't caught wind of the IoT phenomena, it means that when they do, there'll be a little bump in that industry.
We're looking forward to that.
That does sound. So you mentioned you were with it. You did a little work with the DoD, and so how are they receptive regarding technology?
You know, actually, DoD is probably one of the more receptive. They're leading the charge in many ways. They have obviously huge budgets, and they earmark a good amount of money for research pilots. They put aside money to, like DARPA, for example, try to make sure that we're ahead of the curve when it comes to cybersecurity, when it comes to efficiency gained by leveraging these emerging technologies. I almost think that sometimes they're a forerunner in exploring what doesn't work with new technology too. I'm just wondering how much that can trickle into the rest of the government sometimes. Sometimes it's a little bit behind firewalls, it's cleared or classified information, so I'm not sure if all of it's leverageable by the rest of the federal agencies.
You work in an interesting industry. What was your career path like to get to having this, where you're working with the DoDs and the DARPAs?
That's interesting. So, you know, as we were talking about earlier, I started in an information analytics firm for commercial real estate. Love the idea of data analytics. I also understood the benefits that they gained from having really good internal IT service management, people, processes, and technology. So seeing the way that they integrated and automated things, it got me a lot more interested in that side of consulting. So then I ended up going to Computer Sciences Corporation, which at the time was a 90,000 person Beltway federal contractor. Really good experiences, mostly in the federal health area, so NIH, FDA. Then I went to smaller consulting firms, got a little bit of experience with Veterans Health Administration, some private work in the pharmaceutical and life sciences industry. So you can see how clinical research organizations need to cut corners or make sure that they're as efficient as possible without losing credibility or integrity of the data and the medicine that they're trying to put out. Then I ended up moving to SRA 2 days before they announced a merger with CSC, the company I just worked for in the past. CSC and SRA had a big contract again with National Institutes of Health, so I was working there for a while, again mostly around IT service management, ITIL best practices. And then more recently, I've been working with GDIT's corporate, well, it's CSRA at the time, CSRA's corporate on helping to grow our emerging technology presence, helping to understand, like I said earlier, what is appropriate for us to follow up with and discuss with the government versus what we might want to put back into the future a little bit. Then, as a lot of people know, we recently merged with General Dynamics IT in April of this year, And so right now we're still getting those synergies together, trying to find what they've been doing that we can leverage so that we can speed up together, not reinvent the wheel or keep two different disparate.
You guys are newlyweds. Mazel tov. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So in the last 60 seconds, tell us if we're aspiring entrepreneurs in the blockchain space, or if we're students, or if you're a student or a person who wants to pivot in your career to come into the blockchain space, sort of like you have. What is that one or two things that they need to know or be aware of, or you would recommend to them to position their career?
Thanks for asking a great question. So I think it's very challenging to understand where blockchain can fit beyond the tier one or first dimension of cryptocurrencies, where it's very easy when you have a person-to-person transmission of information. The tier two, logistics and supply chain, that's still easy for most people to understand using Internet of Things and sensors to get information, but it's really the tier three. How do you problem solve using tokenomics? How do you use the other attributes of blockchain to solve problems? So one thing for young people trying to enter this industry, don't just be a business side person, because we have a lot of those. Don't be just a marketing person, because we have a lot of those. Be a problem solver. Be somebody who can go in and figure out a new area where you can leverage blockchain fully, right? All of its different attributes as you understand it, and make sure that you're putting this in a place where it brings benefit. It's not reinventing the wheel or uprooting a mature technology, and it's something that has a lasting impact, maybe if you can incorporate social good and other benefits. The other side, besides that creativity, I would suggest is make sure that you have some technical background. It doesn't have to be a full-fledged, full-stack developer or coder, but make sure you've gotten exposure to databases, or you know what programming is and you understand the logic behind it. Because if you can understand the logic behind that, it's just one step more to understand how distributed, decentralized systems work, and then that will enable you to at least have some authority when you're speaking about these creative solutions that you might be coming up with.
Brilliant. So be creative, learn a little bit of the technical aspects so you can speak knowledgeably about it.
Yeah.
Last but not least, if people want to connect with you or find you on LinkedIn or social media, how can they do that?
Yeah, find me at Tim Gilday, General Dynamics Information Technology, timothy.gilday@gdit.com.
Awesome.
Appreciate all that reach out. Thank you very much, Samson.
You're welcome. One of us is going to have some sake.
Uh-oh. Not on video. Just kidding.
I drank mine.
Cheers.
Bye.